Okay, so before you do another rhythm example for today in practice for tomorrow's test, I kind of wanted to go through some things that I'm noticing in some of your rhythm assessments or practice examples, rather, that you're doing that I want to make sure we clarify. So some of us are struggling with the ties, so make sure that when you have a tie that you're still thinking this eighth note here, but it's in your head. So if you were singing this without the tie, it would be ta, ta, dee, ta, dee. So with the tie, you just think this ta here and hold through it. So this would be 2 beats plus the half. So 1, 2, ready, here we go. Ta, dee, ta, dee. Then syncopation, when we have it here or here, it's going to be the exact same rhythm, regardless of whether it's the beginning or the end of the measure. So think of this rhythm as ta, dee, with the middle 2 eighth notes combined together with the tie. Ta, dee, dee, ta, dee. Say it, ready, here we go. Also, be careful with this rhythm, which you have here, taka-dee, and it's where you take those 16th note pattern, taka-dee-me, and you tie the last 2 together. Versus this rhythm, where you tie the first 2 16th notes together, ta-dee-me, which would look like this. Okay, so measure 3 has the dotted half note. Make sure you hold that for 3 full beats. Ready, go. Ta, taka-dee, ta. Rest for 2. Another thing that I'm noticing people struggling with, again, the tie here from 5 to 6, and then the dotted rhythm. Without the tie, this would be 2 beats plus a beat and a half, and then you go on here. Ta, ta, dee, ta, dee, dee. There's that syncopated rhythm again that we had here and here. Same rhythm. Now, also, just make sure you're careful with the dotted rhythm that goes, the dotted quarter that goes into the 2 16th notes, which is here and here. Okay, this is like you're doing a quarter note and then 4 16th notes, which would just be ta, taka-dee-me, but you're tying all of these together. Ta-dee-me. Ready, here we go. Ta-dee-me, ta. Finally, last thing I'm noticing here is these eighth rests. Make sure that you rest on the beat and then go up on the D. D, D, ta, dee, me, ta. Now, when you have a more difficult rhythm, that was blue belt. Here's like a red belt example. Again, we still have the ties with the syncopation, but now we have triplets, quarter note triplets and eighth note triplets. And we still have both these rhythms, ta-dee-me and taka-dee. So from the beginning, this would be ta, ta, taka-dee, taka-dee. Dee, ta, dee, me, ta, rest, rest. Then we have a tie. Ta, dee, ta, da, ki, ta, dee, taka, me, ta, dee, me, ta, dee, ta. So then, when we are actually doing this as an example, you would look at this, you would say the rhythm, and then when you're ready, it would count you off. Now, I didn't put a metronome for the practice, so you can do it at your own tempo, but you do have to make sure that you kind of keep it within that. Here we go. The metronome will stop. Ta, dee, taka-dee-me, ta, dee, taki-da, ta. Hold for 3 beats, then you rest.